waiting in the,
Yeah.
can you see if anyone's waiting?
But I
Yeah.
don't know whose number to tell me. They just texted.
Oh. Oh,
So if you keep your neck warm, keep it around for it.
kinda, yeah.
Hi, good morning. Thank you.
Oh, it's
That you're
Kenzie.
I was going so fast. You were sitting on the top. No, sounds good.
Yeah, I spoke, you'll distract people from my tired eyes. Complimented by the orange and.
Bad when it all comes together, you know, that you don't have to change 10 times. That's great.
It's what separates us from the animals, our ability to accessorize.
It's truly the most important distinction between the two of us.
All right, do you wanna get rolling?
Yeah, should we call to order the March 13th meeting? We have prior meeting minutes to approve.
Did we check and make sure Cindy's not?
Yeah.
I
That
don't
get
know if I
edited.
added the other ones. I did change them.
Okay.
Move to approve the minutes?
I second.
All in favor?
I.
All right. And,
Can we do a roll call first?
oh, sorry, forgot that part.
Anastasia Keitlinger.
Cynthia McCoy,
Lorena Stoker.
Joe McDonald for the town of Fraser.
Sarah Wick, Tom Fraser.
Callie McDermott. And. on
Carrie
Zoom.
Crandall.
Okay, and then did Kenzie get let in? Looks like she just,
Here's Robin.
okay.
So we've got Robin Barrett as well. Cool.
And Kenzie.
And Carrie Crandall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twice.
Okay, do you need them to say their names? Is that standard?
that's fine.
Okay, cool. Okay, so approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
A second.
All in favor?
I.
Thank you. Okay, mostly Mural Fest stuff today. Unless you have anything, you missed our Fire and Ice wrap up. Do you have any?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, good.
Hi,
Cool.
Robin.
Oh,
You're on mute.
she's on mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks for coming.
thank you.
Cool. I did want to share a little feedback that I got from one of the artists. Just emailed me a little while ago, maybe about changing a few things. So I had a little bit of maybe a couple things we could work on. She suggested the artist meet and greet, which we previously used to do on Thursday evenings, but not very many artists showed up to check in the night before, just because it's a whole extra night of lodging. So Sarah and I chatted, maybe we could figure something out for Friday evening. If
Sounds
it's
good.
at one of the breweries or even in the park. So
Yeah.
definitely want to see if we can work that out.
I think that sounds great.
Yeah. She did say the stipend wasn't enough for lodging. And I don't know, I feel like the stipend is it's a lot for lodging.
How much was it again?
$600.
I guess not for the whole weekend, but are we like, is that standard that the Mural Fest would pay for a whole weekend?
I don't know. She made a lot of comments about how a lot of these things do provide free lodging. Obviously, that's not something that I want to dig into because it's been a headache for other things that we've done.
Is this I'm sorry. Is this a first time artist or a return artist?
I think she was first time. And she was a little high maintenance.
300 a night for Friday night and Saturday night, I think
Is totally
great.
good.
On par.
Yeah, she had said a few things about it, just like, kind of exploiting the artist because it doesn't cover supplies. That would only cover lodging and, food or whatever for the week. So it changes the class and diversity.
Well,
of artists.
this is like a great opportunity for us to, as we grow, like just try to evolve and take some of these considerations. We can take what we want, leave what we want. But
Definitely. Yeah.
another question in the line of Joe's, or at least I think it's in the line. Is she like a well-known artist, or is she like, is this her first mural fest ever, or mural? Like, is
I
she
don't know.
have a lot of experience?
It sounds like she has. She said that she's been a part of the nonprofit world, so she had a bunch of feedback about some of the voting and a bunch of other stuff too. But we haven't had her, so I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay.
And with the style of painting, I don't know.
Is
if she's
this-
done a lot.
Has this been an issue with other people who have been here for multiple
That's
years?
What I've said, and we've got people who come from Florida.
Right.
The one gal with like the Pegasus last year, she was the first one to apply, so she's coming from Florida again.
And the woman who has something at what's that's on show at the exhibit, or at the place. What is the name of that funky mouse?
Oh, Meow Wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Funky Mouse.
Funky Mouse.
You know what? Love that. Love that. Let's start a Fraser branch. The
Yeah,
Funky Mouse.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
she's a fairly well-known, the winner 2 years ago was a nationally known muralist. And so I believe that we should always try to consider what the feedback is, but
Yeah.
we also have to weigh it with certain grains of salt, and
Absolutely.
people have been, participating for some of them for 4 and 5 years now, that don't see that as too much as an issue, especially with their eyes on the prize
Yeah.
of what it might happen to be, and that will
Mhm.
more than pay for lodging.
Yeah, definitely. And I can look up some of we only have like 13 applicants so far, but see where they're from. And I mean, I don't feel like that's swayed people too much.
Yeah. Was it
Um,
600 last year?
I think it was 600 last year and
Okay.
5 the year before.
Yeah.
And that's
We all
really
look at
enough for
Sarah.
3 nights. I don't think it's too much to ask them to provide their own supplies. And
No.
then if the stipend covers lodging, and we try to get a couple meals provided, maybe we
Mhm.
could work a little more to get some more meals provided.
I mean, I feel like we had burritos and a lunch at the distillery and discounts at other places.
I mean, the
Um,
stipend isn't necessarily for lodging either. You can just use
Yeah.
it for whatever. Like,
There
Yeah.
are some who come in camp,
right.
Yep.
and
So you can use
and
that money for whatever you want, supplies, lodging,
hmm
food.
I mean, I've got Florida, Tennessee, Florida, Michigan. Tim is from Canada. He applied again.
Maybe we consider next year, since like the rising costs of just life,
Yeah.
next year adding like 52,
Yeah, and I guess my other solution was maybe we could figure out if we talk to like Gravity House or Holiday Inn and see if we can get a group discount.
Yeah.
So if they book before, June 1st or whatever, then they get a group discount on that. So
Yeah,
if
that's really-
anybody knows.
Does somebody want to talk to, is that Holiday Inn?
Yeah,
Holiday Inn and, Gravity House?
I can talk to Gravity House. I'm a member there.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
I have another one that it could be really good that I feel is not really busy in the summer. Is a little bit far away, but it's the village, the vintage hotel in the resort. That one is really, really big. And
Yeah.
I can talk to
Sounds
the
good.
resort.
Yeah, I think
to that.
anything.
Yeah, and I think if we had a group rate where they book by a certain amount of time, then, I mean, even just a little bit of discounted something. I don't feel like the resort's that far. Even the Y would be fine.
and there's bus service
Yeah.
Yeah.
to the resort, which
Yeah.
is handy for
Well, and
those coming from Florida.
well, I guess, yeah, they're probably, if they're coming from anywhere, they have a car to get here, right?
No, the people from Florida,
They
or
take the
at least
train.
that, they always
they take
come
the
in and
train?
they take the
Okay.
train out.
Mhm.
But most everybody else does,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just thought that would be something good to offer.
But if there are this many concerns with that artist to begin with, I think that should be considered in the selection process.
Yes, very much so. She hasn't applied yet, so. She had also said the sales of the mural were extremely low, and suggested charging $10 per square foot to start the bid, which would be $640 to starting the bid.
She
And
really doesn't want to be here.
yeah, and I feel like that's not possible. Changing
Yeah.
that is not feasible. I think we start low and we still don't sell some of them, and some of them only have the one bid. Last year we upped the bidding to $50 instead of $25 per, and some of them went for a lot and some of them didn't. And
My
that's
suggestion would be if she wants to do that, she can always buy it herself.
well, and that was what I said. Well, what happens if they don't sell? Because we're charging $640, then we're in charge of.
I still have one
I
sitting
know,
here.
I emailed him, but yeah, that was another thing that I didn't think we could change. She also offered some insight on the voting and said that should only be on the final day, as murals don't come together until, the very end, and then have like, a day where the artists are still here and they get to chat up all the people who are voting and blah, 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 which is great, but it's a fundraiser. And if somebody wants to buy tickets and vote on Friday afternoon when there's nothing but a couple scribbles, I don't know if we should change that. Again, just some tiny feedback.
It might limit but it still wouldn't limit the family buying, on the final day. So yeah, that's,
No, I mean, we
It
can
doesn't
encourage
change a
people
whole-
to check out the murals when they're finished, obviously, but I don't know. I think that would be a tough one to change since it is a fundraiser.
I have to go.
So,
I'll be back.
Okay.
The dog's in a dog situation.
uh-oh,
Yeah, and she ran off. I can't find her. So
uh-oh. Good luck. We'll see you
they
soon.
do that. That's why Apple
Um,
created those chips.
well, we're fostering her. So.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay, and then I did want to see about the photo booth time. We had Skinner 12 to 4 in town, which I thought was really fun. But I also thought maybe he could be at the awards ceremony, and
That's a great idea.
I thought that would be fun too, since we'll hopefully be in the park.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I haven't participated of the mural festival in the years before.
Yeah.
So I would like to have, if you have from previous years, a program, how.
It's on the website.
Yeah, I
and the-
think we could probably screen share it and show the timeline of it. Can I screen share?
What day, what happens with?
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yep. Do you want to screen share it or do you want me to? Okay.
But to your point, Callie, are you thinking that, did I hear you mention that you thought the award ceremony would be in the park?
Yeah, I think last meeting we voted that we would do it here instead of at a town or a, business in town. So we could have a band. And Cindy, you'll be excited about this one. I did reach out to Dealer Takes 4 and they're available. So we could also vote on either having them or continuing to look for other stuff. But yeah, I think here would be a little more centrally located.
I would go back to a point that I raised a year or two ago,
Mhm.
that I believe that we should start trying to utilize the performance area that we have for fire and ice and other things and start kind of drifting that
Oh,
direction.
to the Lions
So in
Ponds.
using that park as opposed to this park
Yeah.
necessarily, for,
Yeah.
for a different kind of thing. It doesn't have to,
Mhm.
it's set up here for things to kind of, happen here. And it is but it's kind of easy to find both of them. But as we transition into larger things, starting to establish an area that is, if I'm going to
Formats.
go to something that this town is kind of having the function, eventually picnic is going to get too big for probably here too, don't you think? It's pretty close now.
Well, you have plans is to have a gazebo or a, shelter over there, right?
There is the shelter that's already there, but the bike park will be going in there
I just
eventually
mean
for
for
kids that-
having music and events. I mean, obviously,
It's,
that'll have to
it's
happen.
as large as this one, if not larger.
Okay.
So, but it's an idea.
Okay, I do like that. Yeah, I mean,
We
obviously.
just, I think this park is closer, if we have the similar layout,
Mhm.
we've got a lot of murals over here.
And we just struggle so much with parking over at Lions Ponds.
That's true.
Unless we reevaluate where we're gonna spread out murals and get
Kind
up
of do that
toward
every year. Yeah.
Lions.
mhm, yeah,
So
Yeah.
I mean, we have talked about moving all of the murals to Lions Ponds,
yeah, I
but
would love to hear the
We can't do that.
feedback for,
no, well, I know, because that will take it away from all the businesses,
Yeah.
so
but they don't put anything into this.
I,
You know what I mean?
So
I
it,
know, but it's really more about the decision by the board, like,
Yeah.
they want it to be in downtown by the businesses. It's more about what they want.
yeah. I mean, sales
Never seen
tax
that.
and,
Lorena, I think that
Um,
is 25. Because Friday was not the first in 24.
yeah, it was.
It just
This
says,
is the
Oh.
2024 schedule.
but Friday was
The
not the
dates are wrong.
first.
Oh, did I change this already?
Yeah, it was the second, third and fourth.
Well, whatever, it's too late now.
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah.
You can just jump online too.
I like paper.
I can print one and bring it next time.
Yeah,
like
so we had
10, 12.
switched, last year was the first year we did check in at 8 AM. And I feel like that worked out really well. So I don't know if we should add a Thursday. I was hoping to encourage most of the artists to stay on Sunday because I think Rebecca will do the Fab Market again.
I thought they were talking about maybe doing that same weekend of Revel in the Park on the 9th. 10th.
They are. Oh. No, is Revel in the Park?
Revel in the Park is on the 8th and 9th.
Okay, so that's a different
Of course,
weekend.
that's to the Winter Park Chamber thing.
That's the next weekend.
Yeah.
Cause ours is the
But-
first, second, and third.
Fab is.
No, the Mural Fest is first, second, and
Right.
third. So Fab would be the third. Oh, you're saying talking about doing the Fab Market that weekend?
Well, I thought Fraser Valley Arts said they were going to try to do Fab maybe during the same weekend as Revel in the Park.
Okay, Fraser Valley Arts is not doing Fab. We're
Oh,
different.
oh.
So we would probably set up something to get them down here, but I guess I could talk to Rebecca about.
I just
What?
had written a note
Mhm.
that somebody was thinking about coordinating together.
Yeah,
both of those
I do
things.
have that in my notes too, but maybe it's 2 weekends.
Yeah.
Just cause of,
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
Because it's so fab.
yeah. But that's all Rebecca at the distillery, so I will talk to her. Oh. Okay, so I guess we can TBD where we wanna have the or the award ceremony.
It'd probably work best here if it says closer.
Yeah, I mean, it is walking distance for people checking out murals, but
I said, yeah, I mean,
I do like your idea of doing more things at the Lions
Well,
Pond.
there'll eventually be an amphitheater there. There'll eventually be.
Yeah,
other things.
which will make sense for how to.
Just trying to force them to transition.
Hmm.
But-
Well, maybe that's something that we can think about too, is adding some other,
But
something
being
to check
outside
out.
here is fine. I think it's great here because of the playground
Yeah.
for the kids.
Hmm.
And there's nothing over there for that.
Yeah. Do we need, I guess we do have a quorum if we want to vote for having the dealer takes 4. Anybody?
Everybody loves that band. I feel bad that we weren't able to do Weedles last year. And I
Yeah.
almost feel like we need to give them a
They don't live
shot.
here anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
They all moved away.
That's true. I mean, everybody loves Dealer Takes 4. It's
No,
great.
and it would bring out a lot more locals too.
And
but-
you already discussed with the budget for a floor band?
They were way more affordable than I thought they were gonna be.
Awesome.
So, and I had originally reached out to them to see if they would be available on the Tuesdays, or picnic in the park, and they weren't. And so they had asked if there was any other weekend things that they could do.
Yay.
Um,
Just got dealer hats.
You did?
Yeah,
Nice.
the green visor ones. Dealer hats to wear when they play. I just got a bunch of them.
Okay, so does anyone want to vote yes, yay or nay? We
I
obviously,
move to hire Dealer Takes Four for our awards party on August 3rd, 2025.
Yes.
All those in favor?
all in favor, second, second. Cool. I definitely think they would be really fun to have. And yeah, everyone in town really likes them, so.
That saves a
different
lot
than-
of time
Yeah. Yeah,
than calling all the musicians.
there is a lot. And I mean, I don't know what our budget is exactly for that, if we do have space to add another one a little earlier in the day, but I mean, we can figure that out, right?
I'm worried about adding music during the day because like they're not coming from, remember we tried to do that?
Oh
and
yeah,
just, like-
no, I just mean like having a little band before. So if they were gonna
Oh, I see,
play,
like an opener.
Or
Yeah,
KFFR
like-
DJ.
well, I think we'll have
think
KFFR at
that
the park
really was
again
great.
for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like I told them 6 to 8. So I don't know, 5 to 6. We have somebody else, but
Mhm.
we can address that later if that is in the budget. Cool. So 6 to 8 sounds like a good time for them. Awards at 6-ish. Or whatever.
Yes.
Cool. Sweet. And then I guess we'll keep the timeline pretty much the same. Sunday will be the close for the People's Choice Award like we did last year, and for the mural sales. If anybody is really in favor of doing the check-in on Thursday night, we can, but I think I really liked it at Simple Coffee on Friday. And I think that was all of my things. If anybody, yeah, Carrie, if you can do Gravity House and you can do Vintage, just to see if there's any group rates. Okay, yeah, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, I'm happy to do so. Just, if you could email me the details, I'm driving. So if you could just email me the details of the dates they would need, I'll try to get either 25 or 50% off the rack rate.
Cool. Yeah, I think that would be really awesome to offer. I don't know if that's a code or just until a certain date, whatever they want to work out would just be nice.
Okay.
Added thing, but yeah, I'll send you guys the dates.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
um,
There are 30 murals.
30 murals.
There's usually like 5 local awards. So that leaves about 25 that will probably like 20 that probably would need lodging. But upwards of 25, don't you think, Callie?
Yeah,
Is not what we generally
I would think so.
Because the locals generally kind of have their place already. If we do that many this year. But otherwise, the total max of murals is 30.
Hmm.
And most of them that are coming will be willing to share a room if it's got 2 queens kind of thing. Because a lot of these teams are 2 people, 3 people.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, if we just keep it at 30, maybe that evens out for some of those. Yeah. Okay, I'll send you some of those dates and numbers. Okay, did you have anything else?
The commission.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the location of the commission. We chatted briefly about Nick's mural in Camber. It's kind of in poor shape. You might have some more feedback on that. We did say that maybe we could get the artist who did it to come back. Might be a lot of money to have them touch it up, or we could redo that.
There's not
With-
much point in touching.
Yeah, you don't think so? Okay. Would the process for you like,
It's not extraordinary. I've already talked about it.
okay, for like sanding it back down to neutral?
We wouldn't be, we'll probably just power wash it and then prime it.
Okay,
So it's probably looking at 2 to 3 days of public works necessity. 1 person, 2 people from there to do it. So it's definitely within the realm of possibility.
Okay.
The only cost would be getting a scissor jack in her, and I think I've even solved that. I
Yeah.
think that we might not have that expense
okay,
by using the boxes we've got. So
And we also chatted maybe that could last for another year, so if we choose something else for this year and have that be the one next year.
Yeah, it would probably last another year, but it is definitely showing serious signs of degradation. It wasn't prepped properly at the beginning.
Okay.
So the question is, do we want to make that the commission, or do we want to, just pay to have it redone? Like, what do you guys think?
I like the idea of having them get the next commission. And how long has that been up there? 4 years?
No, 6 or
More like
8.
5, 6.
Yeah. It's been a while. But I mean, it's a great wall. It's super visible from everywhere.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Plus, you spend twice as much money to get and you'll have 2 places, you know, that would be good. But is there another place that has the same kind of exposure and has the same kind of space?
Yeah.
I mean, almost no one's going to see the one from last year at the grade school. You know what I mean?
Well, eventually it'll be covered, but when you will be able to see it when you drive into town.
Yeah.
But mostly if you know it's there. Yeah, the distillery has a new build kind of behind the distillery that they have on the river that they asked for a mural on. Also not very visible from town.
Maybe for people walking by
Mhm.
the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Fraser sign.
Also,
Yeah.
I was wondering, what is, okay, you might think I'm crazy, but, okay, behind the post office, there is a tower that have a clock.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like super black gray, and I thought that would be like a really good space to paint
Have
that
something
tower,
fun.
like to highlight it with all the murals, but I
Yeah.
don't know who own it and
Yeah.
if.
We've
but it-
talked about that.
Yeah, we have.
I think it's Verizon, isn't it? Isn't it a cell tower or something?
There is something involved.
It's
with
a
it,
clock.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's probably owned by the same people that own that wall, which would be a great wall to have a mural on, but will require more extensive kind of preparation to be able to make it ready. And I think we have talked with them on a couple of occasions, starting with the very first year, actually.
Yeah,
of
the whole
who
post
owns
office
that,
wall.
and the post office, you know, the post office wall just doesn't come into town.
Mhm.
And so it's kind of tied up in a few, in a slightly bigger tangle kind of thing of who controls this. Is it Verizon that has the say? You have to be careful of messing with the microwaves that are in there. You know, so there was a number of reasons why it hasn't been utilized before, but it's a perfect opportunity for sure.
And that wall had to be like basically redone and.
Like completely resided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to rip it up.
Mhm.
To properly prepare the site
it's-
so that we
it's
don't have the degradation.
Objective. It should probably be prepared by us because it's a huge amount. Sometimes it can be a huge amount of work, sometimes it can be nothing. Like the concrete over here with the buffalo, you know, kind of existed.
Mhm.
I think they did a little bit of prep work on it, but if it's something like the wall of a very old building, like we've had, you know, we're contemplating with one.
Yeah.
Then it kind of cuts into their commission so much
Mhm.
that it starts to make it, you know, not as tempting. And,
Cool.
you know, to do it right.
I was gonna say, make sure it's done
Because you need to
properly.
kind of be showing up ahead of time. you
Yeah.
know, And so they're usually only here for about 3 to 4 days to kind of, and we cover that or we help with that. But it does require so much more kind of physical effort to kind of prep that and make it ready. Whereas if, you know, Public Works can usually do that relatively quickly with insurance to cover the machinery and et cetera. So it's possible, but yeah, you know, and heading forward is certainly something, a good idea to keep in mind.
Mhm.
But I personally, as an opinion, and not being a member of the board and not having a vote on any of that, that it would be best to wait on the distillery building for another year until most of that major construction that's back in there is done. And then a lot more people will see that building. A
Yeah.
lot more people will kind of be involved in that. And there's a lot less chance of something happening during that construction that would affect it not again.
Yeah. And I definitely agree to wait until there's just more stuff going on back there and
Yeah.
it'll get more
And there will be-
visibility.
There'll be some consistent construction back there for probably a couple of years,
Yeah,
but it's going head full
Mhm.
force now, and there'll be a whole lot more people there, and there probably will be other opportunities for commissions back in there
yeah,
as well, to kind of tie it all together with what the plans look like.
definitely. Yeah. Yep, I just wanted to throw that one out there because they asked about it. Is there any other places that you know of, Joe? Or that anybody has in mind for the commission?
I've always thought that it would be a bad idea to try and get the rec center to do an outside wall.
Mhm.
It's in the town of Fraser, it's accessible, lots of people see it. The inside wall is seen by a lot of people as well, so that, but it's only seen by people who cough up the money to be able to get it in,
Mhm.
as opposed to being a public arts kind of piece.
Mhm.
But that's, that's certainly a large canvas that is out there.
Even the Foundry's got some nice wall space too.
Yeah. And they had some small thing kind of painted on it at one time. But I think that she would want to have more. She was not real happy with the way that it played out. Michelle, the
She's not
inside.
there anymore.
the inside,
I love the one on the inside. I
Yeah,
think that one looks
they
awesome.
just wanted to have more input into the initial choosing of the artist. I know for
Oh.
sure that was so approaching
Okay.
them is not. I think we should still possibly do it
Yeah.
if they decide not to do this other building.
Mhm.
But that is something that would need to be
Michelle?
addressed. Yes,
I thought, I mean, weren't they here when we showed?
I think they were
they were.
as involved as anyone else has been. Or maybe she wasn't here that, I don't know.
They were. It was,
I don't remember that.
yeah, no, I ended up in the middle of that, and so no, I would say that wasn't
Hmm.
the way that all parties walked away from it thinking. So,
Okay.
safe to say.
Well, she's not there anymore, so. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we could try to alter how we choose.
It was a second place choice too, which had.
So it was still in their top three.
Yeah,
I mean-
no, that was not even close to the top three.
Oh,
Yeah, but it was a second choice, so the choice in making that artist, that person was a little bit different than here is the main commission, kind of go through. So if it's a main commission, it's a very different kind of process.
gotcha. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because that was the $3,000 section of the mural, then
Oh, yeah, yeah.
versus the $7,000. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I really don't want to get into it.
No, no.
The other one was the Buffalo.
Um,
The
that
Buffalo.
year was,
It was the rec center and where else?
I swear it was the Buffalo.
it probably was, yeah.
I
Wasn't
think
it?
you're right, yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yes. I don't know,
Well,
this is now heading to the seventh one, so it's.
It was
I
when
know.
we had it right here.
Yes.
We had all of them right here. So
So that
who
wasn't
What
that
was the other one?
year.
I don't know. I'll
That
have to
was,
look. It was
that
2023.
probably was the moose on, Vicious Cycle.
No, that one we definitely spent 10 grand on.
No,
At
yeah,
Vicious Cycle?
well, yeah, it was that, but that was first choice place. They cut back on the first. I don't, I've had too many of them.
Yeah, I'll have to look. I could have swore it was this Buffalo.
But that
That
the
was-
winner was over at Fraser River Beer Company, so.
But we had people at Fraser River even when we had them out here.
Mm-hmm.
Did we?
Yes,
Mhm.
but They
Okay.
weren't all.
Oh,
right
yeah,
here.
that's right, right.
They were spread out over there.
Okay,
Uh,
Anyway. no, you're
But-
right.
Yeah, but the rec center is a place. The
Okay.
side of the winery would probably need quite a bit of attention, but it's a large wall that is on Main Street. Winery to either side where the porch is or where the other piece is, it's a large canvas.
Are they
Uh,
doing anything with the middle section of the winery and the brewery?
I have,
I thought somebody had talked about there being like a whole patio inside there.
I tried to do that at one point, but
Yeah.
they shot it down.
Really?
yeah,
That is so perfect.
But you have a large wall that faces that alley, but it doesn't get seen.
It's not as visible.
As the other one, which is
Mhm.
open to that because the other building is so close.
Well, but that could be something fun to do maybe not having the entire wall painted, but going between the alley, so it's on both sides, both of those buildings. It's
Yeah.
maybe not like full coverage.
But to your point, I think that building, that those exterior walls need a lot of work.
That exterior wall on the winery would need a fair, quite a bit of work.
Yeah.
It's a very old building. It's a
Mhm.
lovely building.
It is, yeah, it's super cool. I've always kind of thought the hair salon
Oh, yeah.
side of that wall would be really cool too.
Like driving south
Yeah,
or heading
Um,
south.
But that would be.
not super visible.
They got the-
Ace, I doubt would want a mural on their building.
Of that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. And they've been reticent, because the side of Ace would be perfect.
Yeah, that's what she
The-
just
the
said.
Straight side of Ace, but Dave was not, I don't think he's been too encouraged by what, but it's worth, they're nice people.
Yeah,
It would be worth asking, but it's a large canvas that faces
yeah.
parallel to the road, and
I mean, we could
it's
put
two
power
different
tools
kinds
on
of
it.
surfaces. It might be very difficult for the
Mhm.
artist to kind of deal with, but if they're a really good artist and they paint murals, they're probably used to that.
What about the east side of the gazebo at Lions Pond? Since we're hoping to pull stuff more toward that, what about the new bathroom or that back side of the gazebo? Is that big enough?
Well, the gazebo is open. on
Yeah,
all four
open
sides.
air.
Oh, okay.
So it's just the posts.
Yeah,
The bathrooms are probably out of the
awesome.
question
We
for
could
this
do the
year, but
whole
certainly to
bathroom.
kind of come into it
Okay.
over the next,
Yeah, I like
over
that
the next
idea.
couple of years. That's definitely something to be able to keep in mind, because we will own them and we will kind of, but right now, that's not
we don't know if those are the
Probably.
bathrooms that are gonna stay there.
TBD.
Yeah. They exploded, so.
It could be a cool idea to take pictures and everybody bring a collage of pictures of all the sites that you see and share.
Mhm.
But I think the most expedient, personally, I think the most expedient and the easiest thing to do is to keep that in mind for the following year, but for this year to try and do the big mural that's right on the main street,
Amber.
Okay,
in town, which keeps it from having to be paid for twice. It covers it, like,
Yeah.
some grants and kind of stuff. It can be prepped and gotten too easy. It's a large canvas that is prominent. And it solves another problem, you know what I mean? So it kills a couple of birds with one stone.
are you saying it wouldn't be our mural commission money to,
No, it
No,
would be.
it would be.
Oh, okay,
That-
sorry.
then you don't have to pay to cut you know.
Gotcha.
Just have to pay to get somebody else to come in and
yes,
touch it up, which is, I think, out of the question, or to come in and just paint it all together. And I think
Is-
putting it off a year is probably, it will start to look,
real bad?
yes.
Yeah. Is that something that you can have prepped and ready and we could put like a banner that says, you know, future new mural or something
If by the festival.
by the
itself.
mural fest? Or is that,
It's possible, you know, but there's a lot of stuff to do to get to that point.
yeah,
But I think that it's certainly, you know, it's certainly possible.
yeah.
We're taking the spring. It depends on how we're staffed and what, you know, what those
Mhm.
have to kind of go through.
Well,
But like I said, it's a 2 or 3 day process that'll take place over the course of a week. And we would have to get, you know, we would have to get his approval, you know, to kind of go in there at the beginning. But I was planning on, we were going to do it, I was planning on trying to prep it this spring when he's not gonna have that many people sitting on that patio. So,
yeah, and I'm just thinking if we do end up choosing an artist from, you know, Tennessee or Michigan, if it's ready to go and they just extend their stay
Yeah.
and it's done then,
Yep.
obviously that would be ideal too.
yes, I think that it would be probably, more than 80%, you know, chance of probable to be able to be prepped and ready to kind of go by that time. If the
Online meeting with the art council.
I like him, he's a nice guy, Nick. And so
I mean, do you want me to reach out to him?
it's probably better for someone official, you know, to
Okay.
do that. But I would be more than happy to be there with you, to talk about the process that would be required. And the small amount of inconvenience that might occur to him.
Okay.
To, you know, and doing it to get it ready for the.
Okay.
So if you wanted to set up something.
I will. I'll email and copy you.
So just to be clear for the recording and everything, it's the PAC's recommendation that it's the commission award.
To be
If it,
on Camber.
Yeah.
all in
Cause
favor of that?
he applied for a business enhancement grant and that was
Part of it.
part of it. So
Mhm.
that's kind of why this discussion
Mhm.
came up. So that'll be cool. Okay, yeah, I'm in favor.
I'm
Okay.
in favor.
I was gonna say, prepping wise, if you needed extra hands, that could be a really great, activity for us as a committee, you
Team
know, like
bonding.
roll some white paint on, good, you know, photo op,
It's,
like, so if you needed extra hands, if it was something like that,
if I do, yes.
yeah, let us know.
It's sometimes easier to do it with machines.
Sure.
And it's
Cool.
so high, I
Yeah.
have to kind of
Yeah.
have to think about it in terms
Yeah,
of.
yeah, mull it
that,
over, but if you need extra hands, I
yeah.
think that could be a really nice thing for some of us to come out and
We
help
could
with.
possibly do some scraping.
Yeah, yeah, couple hours, like, you know, that's what we're here for, is to help with that kind of stuff, so.
Cool. Yeah, I do like that, and it makes it a little easier than searching for a new building, especially when there'll be a few new buildings
Yeah.
next summer. So.
And you can start thinking now in terms of making your collage. I think it's a
I love
wonderful idea.
Mhm.
These are the big, here's the pictures of the things I think, could be addressed in here. It's just, we're running into time constraints at this point in time. I know it's all the way in August, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
believe me. this
It'll
is-
be here
this is-
before we know it.
Mhm.
I will be starting to think in terms of buying materials probably really soon. Placement of the murals, do we have to reinvent that wheel again this year?
I don't think so.
I liked all of the placement. I mean, I wouldn't even be opposed to having a, like, instead of in front of, what's the ski butler, doing an extra one in the mural park and an extra one down in HTA, just to
Oh.
cluster a few more.
Yeah, HTA is probably at about its max for what I can get into
Yeah.
those trees.
Yeah.
But we are gonna be losing a spot at, not Vicious Cycle, the Fraser River Brewery. We might be losing both of those spots, but with the
Okay.
build up that he's got there and what he's got,
Yeah.
they're kind of set up. We'll have to talk to Brian to see whether he can actually get one or two of them into there.
Okay.
We have another spot to possibly do. There were two spots directly across the street last year for the first time.
Yeah.
That in that section, and so having them together, but if we lose the two across the street, we might need to move some of,
Yeah.
some of that. But as far as the basic structure, yeah, I think that 120Z or the headwaters,
Mhm.
we had that about as maxed out as we could get
Okay.
with tree limbs hanging down in front of it.
Well, a little
kind of
bit farther
access.
down, like the parking, but that
Yeah,
removes
the
some parking.
yeah.
Yeah. I definitely am still in favor of trying to have 3 murals clustered together. I think 2 is hard.
Well,
But-
it was 2 because there was 2 across the street. and 2
Yeah,
on the other
yeah,
side.
definitely.
So
But
it's
there was
kind of
just the
basic.
2 at that Ski Butler place and 2 in that
Right.
little grassy area.
yeah,
But I didn't like that one there. So, but I do feel like, yeah, same setup. We do have it walking through town. I mean, I personally think having 3 or more murals clustered together sounds better, but
But yeah,
that's,
we're
where possible.
area constraints and
Totally.
things falling over when the wind starts to
Mhm.
blow. Because that's placed at the edge of Bowerbird. It would be really hard to fit another one in.
Yeah.
It wasn't against the
Mhm.
wind kind of thing.
Yeah,
And they need room to spread out for themselves
They
as
do.
well. Because that also affects the 2 that, or at least tried to get 2, I thought. There was 1 maybe between the winery and the,
there were 2 there.
were there 2?
I mean, I would still be in favor of putting even more back there and like having that whole space behind them blocked off. But
But
I don't-
that's not our space,
well,
unfortunately.
I'm totally fine adding that to my docket of things to ask Nick.
Yeah.
I feel like that would just be such a good space to cluster 5 together. So,
Yeah, well, honestly, anything that's clustered together is a lot less work for me. so.
yeah, yeah, and I think that,
But-
congregating them more is better.
One of the other things about back there is emergency egress and emergency vehicle access is one of the reasons it's kind of been off the board for that, because everybody that
Pull
be
in.
able to get through. And we can get them through the main drive off of 40, but it's
Mhm.
easier with the other stuff.
Um,
But there were 2 at the winery too there, so we had at least 2 together in every place that there was.
yeah. I had also mentioned to Sarah that, even if we blocked off the road right in front of Fisher's from like Highway 40 to the entrance of that parking lot to the, whatever it's called, the little apartment building back there. Yeah, not all the way to the Amtrak. So just like that first half block would be kind of cool
Like by,
in front of like
vet- the
Highway
vet
40
clinic,
Fisher's
basically.
to
But not all
like
the
the
way
White
to
House, not all
Right.
the way to the train
Like
station.
just so the vet clinic and the apartment building had access and like
Mhm.
that could be
everywhere there and
free.
like.
Yeah,
That would be the half the block, or the other half of the block from Autumn's Nest to, Distillery entrance.
yeah.
So I liked those. I think we talked about that one year. That's Eastham and Fraser Avenue. So,
Also, like I've liked and disliked the location of the info tent.
Yeah.
It was loud and there was a
Mhm.
little kerfuffle right at the beginning about stuff. So if we
Mhm.
could find a different location for that, that would be great too.
well, and if we congregated more on those two half blocks and maybe got rid of HTA, then having the mural park or having the info tent on the Fisher Street
Yeah.
would be more centrally located. And then Skinner could be there too. So,
You mean nothing at the Headwaters Trails? The 5 of them?
yeah, the 5 of them could move to that street closer
that's-
into town.
Everybody liked that spot.
I mean, I'm sure the artist did too, but
Yeah.
Gorgeous spot.
yeah. But just to like congregate even more. Yeah.
I think if we were gonna move some, it would be the ones that are far north, those two. And
Definitely.
maybe the ones that were in between, like, on the fake grass area.
Yeah, I don't like
move
that.
those 4
Hmm.
somewhere else, like. I don't know.
Well, and if we have to move the 2 in front of Fraser River, that's 6.
Yeah.
That's pavement. I was just gonna say, I wonder if like Denver Health would let us use their parking lot for the weekend. And then we
They
can
have
set it up.
people in there on Friday, so, and like, it's, I
Yeah.
mean. there's
It was
people in
it
town
was
there.
loud being right on the highway like that, like not being between buildings. It was really loud.
Yeah, okay.
So that I don't know if that was super ideal. At least Goranson Park, in front of Sharky's has a little bit of
Yeah, I like that.
yeah, a little bit of coverage, but
And then they have like access to bathrooms for you. stuff
Mhm.
like that, too.
yeah.
And we can all think about this and. figure it
Yeah,
out.
yeah, I don't think we have to.
Yeah,
We've
we
got
can-
time to decide on that.
Yeah, no, I get it, yeah.
Yeah.
We're always kind of messing with things.
But I think the general layout, obviously
Yeah.
keeping the mural park and Goranson Park and, as many as we can fit through the businesses in town is the way to go.
Goranson is what feeds the Headwaters, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That cluster of things right there.
Yeah.
Trying to put, you probably lose a mural if you want to put your information tent and across from Sharky's, but you can move one of those murals to someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
But if the tent itself of taking up the space, because that is where they're packed in almost the tightest of any place.
Yeah.
So in removing one of them, plus it's important to be in front of the public. That's what the thing that the corner may have been
Totally.
odd for the people that were there and kind of doing it, but for
Yeah.
the public, it was very visual about where I should go.
And I like it right in between. I do think the only thing is that we'd have to have Skinner next to the info tent. I don't like him all the way over far by himself.
Yeah.
I could see about moving that one mural where the info tent would go into the driveway for the weekend of the Yellow House. I think that the therapists there who park there would be, so you just have like, instead of just the 3 on the grass, there'd be like 1, or we can maybe. make that
With that
longer.
simple coffee being there, it's a little less busy this, now it's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and last year, the girls at Yellow House actually made it like an event for
Right.
themselves, and they were handing out sunscreen and promoting and from everything that I talked about with those girls, they definitely want to do that again.
Cool.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
you never get enough sunscreen,
Yeah.
especially the high quality. That's an NB. All right, so we're
Okay.
pulling it over then?
Yeah,
Yeah, TBD on
Yeah.
the location.
yeah,
But the mural,
But similar.
I will start, let's talk to Nick and then I will start the wheels rolling about.
I'll send an email.
I think we have all the equipment here. We don't have to rent anything. It'll be, other than man hours, it won't cost us hardly anything.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll send an email to him and copy you on it
Yeah.
and see if we can figure out a time to meet.
I want to talk to him about what we will be doing to the building, and his little patio will be tied up for a very short period of time.
Yeah, but if you do that closer to mud season, if possible, then I don't see any problem there. Okay,
Be nice to have a little interactive map of the town that we could put up and then move the little circles where we're envisioning things.
mhm,
Like print one off and cut out some circles and.
yeah, and try it out. That would be fun. Or maybe we can come up with like, 3 map options and see what works, and I don't know. Okay, that was all on my list for Mural Fest stuff. Unless you want to bust out the Mural Fest board.
Not really.
Okay. I can check it and see if there was anything on there that we
Right,
didn't,
I think.
that we
What worked
definitely,
and what didn't.
yeah. Yeah, anybody else have any fun stuff?
Just a general observation that these events are great and they take a lot of people's time and contribute to it, but they're not really done until they're finished. And the amount of participation and the wrap up has been less than stellar in almost every event we've done for the past year. As far as either getting volunteers from the community or the other things. And so after working really, really long period of time to get to the event and how to kind of be the event. And then working through the days that it kind of takes place, the job isn't really over until the tools are put away. And so I would just say that that's something to keep in mind as we look at this one, that's coming up, which will absolutely be my last one.
Yeah.
And so, but the amount of stuff that, that is required to finish it, it needs to be taken all the way to completion and across the finish line. It's always nice because that opening night is great. And the opening, a couple of days when everybody's out and around and kind of really celebrating it. But the real work is after everybody goes home and the circus has to get ready to leave town, kind of thing. So
Yeah, I mean, to Joe's point, if you guys are available that weekend, to be available, because all hands on deck is super helpful to make everything go so
to take that
smoothly.
last day after long days, to make that last day a little bit shorter, because there have been times when. And I'm always happy to be the last one here to make sure everything's buttoned down, but still it helps. It's a lot easier now that we're not doing music. To be
Yeah.
honest with you.
And even if
Or
it just, if
stage.
you feel like you're just standing around doing nothing, just being there, and being available, is
Yeah.
always nice.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Yeah, not necessarily signed up for volunteer hours, but
stuff like that.
Centralizing
around.
stuff that we can move from.
Yep. Well, you do lots of good work for us, Joe.
Appreciate it.
And then maybe if the three of us can sit down and talk about like if we can make any more clear about the mural pickup and stuff like that, like, I don't know what to do. Again, we could talk about it.
Yeah.
offline, but.
Yeah.
I think you have to make a decision and stick to it. Honestly, I think you have to set a deadline and make that a deadline. That you can't call 7 months later and go, where's my mural? Oh, can you take that down for me? That's what we've been trying to head to for a number of years. I did have one other idea before you let it go, though. I've loved your idea for Fire and Ice about getting the business participants to do something that, that represents it all the way around town, and then having it kind of finish.
Yeah.
I think that they should make paper mache chainsaw bears And that
Chainsaw
the
bears?
bond, you know how chainsaw bears are on all of these tourists' porches?
Oh,
You
yeah,
know, the
yeah,
chain-
yeah,
so
like
make
the wooden
every
sculptures.
business make their own paper mache imitation of a chainsaw bear, whether large or small or this or that.
Yeah,
We have a Bruin bonfire at the end, you know.
Bruin
The
bonfire.
bonfire that you can bring over your Bruin.
yeah,
And, you know, and we're not taking Uller, we're not stealing from any of these other things that try to do, but we're going to have a Bruin burn, you know, or burn your Bruin, you know, for the thing.
Bring
So
your
it just
Bruin.
came to me the other day, because I see so many chainsaw bears as I drive around.
The worst.
At one time, I was going to steal all of them and put them in the field at Clark's Field and set up chainsaw movers, things like guardians, as they were like herding the chainsaw bears around. So I think it's something that people can do. They don't have, I mean, they could even make their own real chainsaw bear if they want.
mhm.
But it's something that everybody identifies with, and that it's something that would burn.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that we should figure out how to get the businesses to make something burnable.
Burn your Bruin.
Yeah,
It's
Burn-
got the alliteration.
It's a
You
bear
can do
burn.
the
Bear
BYOB.
burn, you know, burn your bears. Because yeah, so far, this happens for a lot of them. A lot of them have made the biggest amounts of money that they've ever made any given weekend or any given day through the course of their history and existence in the town of Fraser.
yeah,
And I don't see them doing anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can, I mean, yeah, we should
But
definitely
your
rope them in.
idea from the, you know, from like before it stayed with me. 'Cause
Mhm.
I thought it was such a lovely, you know, sentiment and idea.
Yeah,
So,
I really want them to make snowmen.
I love snowmen.
Yeah, like the town of Granby does the scarecrows. I feel like if they could make snowmen for,
but they can do the same thing with bears.
yeah,
You know,
with
I mean, we don't always have snow, you know, especially in front of their businesses, because we work hard to keep that clean.
yeah,
But,
No, like paper mache snowmen, or
if they can do.
or that too, yeah, whatever.
But it doesn't
Either
have
way,
the same ring as.
I think they can be creative with finding snow.
Hey, Steve, we were just on the verge of wrapping up, so.
Okie dokie. Sorry about that. My
you're
my
totally
coaching
fine.
call went on.
Yeah, I knew you had something else going on, so.
Yeah.
We did agree to do the Camber, to do a new mural for Camber.
For the commission?
As
Yeah.
the commission.
Yep.
All right.
That
You
was
guys
the
gonna
big-
connect with Nick and talk him through that, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna send him an email with Joe on there so we can get a time to meet and see what it takes. So,
that
Yeah,
was
I don't think he'll oppose that.
No.
You know, he was looking for either that or touch up, but
Yep.
he seemed open to both scenarios.
Anything else for the greater good?
Not from me.
not good.
Did you find your dog?
Yeah.
Does somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
I
Seconded.
All right, thanks,
Good
everybody.
round.
Favor, yeah.
Bye-bye.
You can stay longer.